Hello again, Kevin Inoue here from Fight Designer LLC. By request, I've got some follow-up to the previous series of videos and sort of the basic introduction to firearms, designed to be sort of a dual purpose for theatrical firearms users for film or stage who are interested in training actors, or for new gun owners who are trying to figure out what to do with this actual firearm that they now have in their hands. Anybody who's new to that world. The 4 basic safety rules, and then some sort of add-ons, one of which is to know your firearm or your prop, and the other to make sure that you can store them safely. Now, a couple of things about that I want to add on. One was a question of how do we know, because the camera's a bit far away, can you really see what it looks like when you're doing a chamber check and looking inside? Yes, I have an unloaded Steyr M40. And you can see that feed ramp there. That is an empty chamber, the feed ramp going into an empty chamber. So I can tell there's nothing in there. A completely empty feed ramp, round of ammunition. Now on this one we also have a loaded chamber indicator in the back here. This is flush right now. And you have a little bit of a cutout you'll be able to see up here. All right, so when there's not a round in there, you can't see anything through that little crack, and this is flush. Now that I've cocked it, if you catch the light just right, you can see a little bit of brass peeking through there, right? And there's also this little part here is now sticking out a little bit. So that actually gives me something that I can feel. And just run my finger over to know if it's loaded or not. And then if I take the magazine out and I want to know if it's loaded, sometimes I just want to do what's called a Crest Check. So maybe I'm just making sure while I'm in combat, hey, is this going to be ready to go? And for that, I just want to press back just a little bit, just enough that I can peek and see some brass shining through there. Not enough it's going to change the status of the firearm by ejecting around or chambering one, but just enough back that I can see, yep, there's brass in there, and I'm good to go. You can either do it from the back or you can also do it from the front like this. And just do a little press check. Doesn't take much to be able to see that there's a round in there. M&P shield. Again, if we're looking at the top this time, there's a circle. And actually the Hellcat's almost exactly the same. There's a little circle there where the rim would stick up when it's loaded. There's nothing there right now because, let's lock this back, because there is nothing in that chamber. You can see the metal shining on the feed ramp. That's just the feed ramp. And if I chamber around, now when I look in here, I can see a little bit of metal sticking through. Right? So that's one indicator. And then the other thing is, if I just do a little press check, I can see that brass. I can see that there's a round in there. Right? Note that none of the ways of doing that involved putting a hand in front of the muzzle or otherwise being unsafe with that. Leonardo DiCaprio did one of a little press check like that in Blood Diamond before running into a conflict. I think that's the first time I actually saw one being used in a movie. It was a nice little touch that kind of rang true to me. Now, if you have a AR pattern replica or a real rifle, what you would do is same idea. You can look in here, and you can see in the bolt there, you can see the rounds on the top of the magazine, and you can also see forward into the chamber and see if there's something there or not. All right, and this is the charging handle back here. Is what you would use to check that. So when that goes forward, that'll strip around and put it in the chamber. Pump action shotgun, also very similar. I got a little snap cap here. So with that, in order to open this, there is a little lock, a bolt lock to the side of the trigger guard here. You got to push in if you haven't fired it to be able to operate the pump here. But you can look inside and you can see that there is nothing in there. If there was one dropped in there, you'd be able to see the front of it. Now it's just got an orange primer because it's a snap cap dummy round. But if for some reason when you pumped it, one didn't eject like it should, and there was still one in the barrel, in the chamber, that's what it would look like. Another thing that I found, I guess I left off when I was compiling the video clips from Part 5 before, is about knowing how to feed your firearm, right? Part of your care of it. not just how to store it and how to use it, but how to clean it and how to feed it. So in terms of feeding, it's really about making sure you know the right ammunition. If you have a AR-15, those are really popular right now. A lot of people have them. A lot of people have more than one. Those can be chambered in a lot of different calibers, but 223 and 5.56 are basically the same, and you can put the either kind of ammunition in either kind of firearm. That doesn't mean that it's safe to do so. They operate at different pressures and slightly different spacings. So if you use the wrong ammunition, if you use a 5.56 and a 223 rifle, you may end up having that blow up in your face. There's different kinds of 9mm. There's, if you're using a revolver or a semi-automatic, you can get plus P ammunition. Some firearms are rated for plus P, some aren't. That plus P basically just means more power, more powder, more boom. And if your firearm is not designed to take that extra boom, it's going to boom in all the wrong ways, and it's going to explode in your face. Likewise, if you have a blank gun, a theatrical blank gun, they're designed to cycle and operate with a very specific amount of blowback and charge. And so if this is not a mass-produced thing from, Zeraki or Rite or Umarex or whatever, but is a custom-fitted blank gun, or we've got a restrictor from Bullen Defects or someone else, use the ammo that it's meant to be used for. Because if you use the wrong one, either it's going to be too weak and not cycle correctly, or it's going to be too strong, and it might actually damage things and have a catastrophic failure.